You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kerbyson, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerbyson, joined with Reed Bacon. We have a great podcast today. We are talking the 2024 SEC schedule release, our thoughts on playing Oklahoma versus Texas and some of those games that got flipped around. We're talking about Vol baseball over in Omaha and their loss to LSU, but we're going to bounce back on Monday. And then we talked Boo Carter, who committed over the weekend, an athlete out of Chattanooga that Tennessee is very excited about, and what we saw from his film. So before we get into any of that, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. We love interacting with you guys in the comments. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download. It helps us so much. And follow us on those listening platforms. Also, follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon for our main account on Twitter, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. If you want to follow Reed, his main account on Twitter is just at rbacon26. And then if you'd like to follow myself, it is just at Kyler Kerbyson on all social medias. So let's jump on into this great podcast. All right, welcome in, everybody. I think we have a great podcast coming ahead of us. I'm very excited about it because we've got some really nice things to talk about. We got the 2024 schedule release, the SEC schedule. We've got Vol baseball in the College World Series, and we just landed a big-time recruit in Boo Carter. So very excited to talk about everything. Before we get into that, though, Reed, how we doing, bud?
Hello, Kyler. Happy Father's Day to you because you are a father of two cats.
Yes, that is correct.
Happy Father's Day to me because I'm your daddy.
You freaking wish.
Yeah, I know you recognize this. This is another entry in the Kyler Kerbyson hand-me-downs to me through his big trash bag of stuff.
Yes.
And so you would think I wouldn't be able to wear his old, where's the sevens? What's up, 7?
There you go.
Boom. You wouldn't think I'd be able to wear this because he wore it as just a little pullover zip-up jacket, but I wear it because I love running in it, working out in it. It's a nice little sweat box, and it basically fits me kind of like a rain jacket, so it's not too huge.
Yeah, that was tight on the arms and shoulders when I was 320. So.
It's just funny because when you gave me all those clothes, like I wouldn't think I'd be able to wear, but I legitimately wear the two dry fits every week because they're so comfortable and so big. I like them. And they, like I said, they fit me upper, but they're still a little long on the arms and a little long, but I like that. It feels so comfortable. I wear your Tampa Bay Bucks one sometimes too. I think I've said that on here because it's a comfortable shirt. And then I wear this. So I get a lot of use out of stuff that's 2X.
That's good.
Well, a couple things were 3X, but yeah. Anyways, happy Father's Day to all the papas out there. I got, it sucks that everyone else has to come in second because I got the best one in the world. So Roberto is the man. I'm very, very fortunate to have him to look up to and to be a role model and genuinely, my best friend. He's the number one person I love to watch sports with or play golf with. So that's very fortunate. And then I've had a lot of really great father figure role models. So that I'm just very lucky in that.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, fathers, there can be a very close and tight relationship. So it's awesome. How was your weekend so far?
Not too shabby. Let's see. Friday, just hung out. Megan was busy, so we didn't go out to dinner. I just had a nice little practice session at the range on Friday afternoon, which was needed, and it was good. I left feeling better about the game, so that was nice. And then my family went to a party in the neighborhood, which I have no desire to do that. So I literally chilled at the house with Annie and ate some food and just had a nice little easy night. Yesterday was a nice day. Hung out with Megan. Watched the UT baseball game, which I said that we would lose. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is pretty funny. So I love to fish, but I like to fish at ponds. Maybe like a small river. And I used to fish all the time here at Holston because they got two great ponds to go fishing. Then they were really against it, and they didn't want people fishing because it was getting really bad, not only with members wanting to fish, but then non-members showing up. So that happened, and then one of the ponds got a lot of algae in it, and that's just really annoying. So I was like, I haven't fished over there in about a year. So when the Holston Hills Invitational, the Knoxville Open was up here for the Corn Ferry a couple weeks ago. I ran into some people, and it was a younger kid who I used to, when I lifeguarded, he was younger. Now he's like a sophomore, junior in high school. He's a great kid. And so we were talking about fishing, and he was showing me pictures of some nice, good sized bass that he was catching down in the bigger pond. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to do it. I said, I'm going to give it another shot. I said, it was a disaster a year ago when I went. Algae, wasn't getting any bites. I had really thought that the course had grown everything up on purpose in there to deter people from fishing. So Megan and I went yesterday, and my rods are kind of the ones I have now are broken. I need to get rid of them. So I went and bought a new rod, get it all lined out, everything like that. So I bribed my dad. I said, Dad, if you set my line and get my weight and bait on there like I like it, I'll get you some bourbon. Nice little trade-off. And so he said, all right. He was like, I'll do it. No problem.
Dad, help me.
Just a 32-year-old still getting his dad to set his lines.
Yeah, exactly. Just like you were 5.
Exactly. So he did that for me. So after Megan and I ate up at the country club last night, I came home, got the rod, and I went down there. I was like so pumped. I was like, I feel it. I'm going to catch something tonight. First cast, back in, a lot of algae. I'm like, damn, that's annoying. Second cast, throw it out, reel it in. It's a lot of algae. I'm like, this probably ain't going to be worth it. Take one, third one. I really whip it because I really want to get it deep out there. And all of a sudden, I just see my weight and my bait just flying across the pond. The line snapped on my third, and I was just like, are you kidding me? And I just went like this and just shook my head. And I was
just
like,
leave. Here's your sign. Like, just leave.
Yeah. And I looked over at Megan, and she was cracking up, but trying not to laugh loud or whatever because she didn't know if I was like actually mad. And that's why I told her. I said, used to a couple years ago, because I started probably 6, 7, 8 years ago where I would go very consistently in the summer, but I would go down there 3 or 4 deep, with rods, so that if one gets caught or one gets stuck and I have to rip it, okay, I can just pick another up and go. I don't want to sit there and have to, do all that nonsense while I'm burning daylight. So yeah, it was funny though that happened.
That's hilarious.
How was your weekend?
Not too bad. Sister-in-law came in to shop for some couches. Have more options around here in Nashville.
Nice.
And it's so funny. Like, I went with her and my wife, and we went to all these stores and looked at all this stuff. And like, I brought my measuring tape so that they could like measure out things. It's so funny how like a man's mind works versus
yeah.
They were like, well, so like, what do you think about this couch? I was like, it's comfortable, like comfortable. And then I would like measure it out and go, yeah, I mean, I could lay flat on this.
Yeah.
Well, like those were my 2 factors that I cared about. I was like, is it comfortable and can I lay flat on it? Great.
And does Does it look, like we care somewhat what it looks like? Like it looks decent.
But it was like, what color fabric? What kind of fabric? What do the pillows look like? Are you doing 2 pillows or 3 pillows? How wide is the armrest? Is it narrow? Do you have an armrest? Is it on the ground? Is it off the ground? What do the legs look like? And I'm just like, is it over 70 foot? Is it over 76 inches and it's comfy? I'm good, baby. I am good.
But the thing is, it's not even coming to your house though. It's for your sister-in-law.
Yeah, I know, but I thought the exact same thing when my wife was doing it. She was like, "What do you want in a couch?" I'm like, "I want it to be long enough I can lay on it."
Yeah,
that's it. Because not all couches are like that.
No, I know there's plenty of couches that I couldn't sleep on comfortably, so I know damn well there's some that you can't.
No,
so
I legit like messed up my knees one time sleeping over at a friend's house in college and just hyperextended them all night up on the armrest. Like literally had my knees up on the armrest and it was just like bending, like hyperextending them just like brutal. That all night. And I woke up, I've never been in so much pain in my life on like the back of my knees.
Why didn't you just go to the floor?
Just because there was nothing on the floor. Like I would have to take the pillows off. They didn't have like a air mattress or anything. I was trying to be comfortable and I didn't even realize like how shitty that would hurt the next day until I got to the next day and was like, oh fuck.
Dude, I would have I don't mind the floor. I can straight just floor. Give me a pillow. Now, if I'm in bed, I'm usually on a side. I'm a side sleeper. But if I get on the floor and I'm tired enough, you can just get me one pillow. There's times I'll watch sporting events. One pillow, flat floor, looking straight up. It's very comfortable for my back.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
My back would be ruined.
No. It helps mine. It helps my like disc and stuff. I don't know.
I'm usually a side sleeper. I need like a pillow between the legs, something to grab onto on the side. It's a whole thing now.
Well, when you come over when we go to practice and you need to sleep, I'll give you something to hold on to.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the offer.
Don't act like we're on camera that you won't take me up on it. You're going to show up.
Hey, not in front of the fans, okay?
You're going to show up and be like, hey, big boy. Okay, so let's
jump into some actual content here.
So what did you think about the baseball game?
No, we're going to go 2024 schedule first.
That's what I said.
So with the schedule.
SEC schedule.
Yeah, just the SEC schedule. We're not worried about out of conference, all that, blah, 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 whatever. This is the first year they're not going to have the divisions. And if this gives us a clue to what we have in the future, I do like it. Because one thing that I wanted was for us to keep our rivalries with Bama and Florida. I felt like those are really our two biggest rivals. And I wanted them on our schedule. I know that Alabama's good. I know that they've been really good. I like certain people were like, oh, well, like, do you really want to have to play Bama every year? Yeah. They've been our rival for like 100 freaking years. Like, yes, I want to play them every year because I don't want to bow out as soon as we get good enough to beat them. So, Mr. Bacon, your hand was raised.
Thank you. So, I agree. Now, you're talking to someone that 4 years ago, 6 years ago, I would have said, I wish we would stop playing them. There was no hope in sight for me.
Yeah.
Kiffin was here very briefly, and I was young at that point. So I thought he's good on game day. But now that I'm older, I would not want him as my coach. So don't take it that way. But when I'm younger and we got Kiffin, I'm like, okay, we can compete with him if he stays. Well, he didn't stay. But then when we have Dooley and Butch and Jeremy Pruitt, there was no hope. I was like, take Bama off. But now that we're 2 years in with Coach Hype, I'm like, just keep them on.
Hell yeah.
Keep them on because now I feel like we have a legit shot to beat them. Now, I'm not going to say we're going to beat them every year. That's crazy talk. But if we are competitive and say if we play them 5 times and we beat them it's two. The series is 2-2, and they get us on the last one. That's okay. That's still, it's you said it perfectly. Now is not the time to dip.
No. I love the fact that they gave us Vandy and Kentucky. I think those are our rivals for us. And I think we're more of a rival to Kentucky than Kentucky has with any other SEC East teams. And the same thing for Vanderbilt. It's a lot more heated between us and them than anybody else. So I think that I like the fact that they kept them on. South Carolina, Missouri, cool. Give us Mississippi State, Arkansas. That's fine with me. Interchangeable. Doesn't matter. There's not a big thing there. And then getting OU. I know why they did it, because Heupel played there and he, Heisman runner-up and national champion. Look at the ratings. Look how many old pictures of Heupel we get to put up on the broadcast when it's on freaking CBS. I get it. But we just played Oklahoma. I've already seen Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not even considered the better team right now. Everyone's picking Texas to have more success. I want Texas. I want to be able to play them. We've barely ever played them in the past. I think 2 games in the history of Tennessee. UT versus UT. I grew up when I grew up. I was originally born in Texas, so growing up and playing the NCAA video games, sometimes you get bored with being on Tennessee and doing a dynasty. I would pick Texas as my other team to do it on. So I was like, oh, I'm from there. I could be a fan technically, but it was just so that part of it, I just really want to play Texas. I think it would be so cool. I think a uniform matchup is cool with a little burnt orange and our orange. I think it's just a better game in my eyes, but I get it, the Heupel connection and all that stuff. But for the history of Tennessee, I want to play Texas bad.
So I feel like we've seen Oklahoma a lot, meaning we've played them twice, then they were on the schedule, then they got pulled from the schedule because of this.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to know why something's happening, follow the money, and you're 1,000%.
Exactly.
And you're 1,000% right. It's Heupel returning. Oklahoma's not coming to us. It's Oklahoma. It's Coach Hype returning to Oklahoma. They're going to play all that up. So it's the TV execs are going to love it. That's one of my.
Yes, I freaking love it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's Bailey, Liz's boyfriend or Liz's husband. He cracks me.
Guy.
Yeah, big Texas guy, but that's actually not why. That's funny. That's not why I'm bringing him up. But we were on the golf course and we're doing a 2-on-2 match, and someone hits a putt to bring it within one hole, and he's like, the TV execs are pumped. The producers are loving it. And I thought that was such a funny joke. And so I say it sometimes now, but it is true. You're right. That's why they did it. Not to say, though, that when Tennessee and Texas play, that it won't be a big deal either. There's a lot around that as well. Who's the real UT, who's the real Orange, all that. So, and that's going to happen. We're going to play. I guarantee it'll be the very next year we go to Austin or they come here.
Yeah.
Because it's a big TV matchup. But Kyler, I am excited to play Oklahoma again.
Redemption, of course.
I want a piece of that Oklahoma ass after going down there and getting kind of worked. And then we have our chance to beat them when they come here. And that's your senior year. And you all, just like the Florida game, just like the Bama game.
Yeah.
That Oklahoma game is right there where you guys outplayed them. And there was, a couple decisions made by the coaching staff. And I'm not putting it all on them, but it was one of those that you guys definitely could have won. And you just didn't close it out. And that's okay. But I want a piece of them. I want to beat them. So I'm happy. And the good thing is Dylan Gabriel will be gone. So he's the only thing that scares me about Oklahoma, but he'll be gone after this year. So,
yeah.
But I'm happy we're playing them.
Heck, that'll be the year of Nico. So
right.
Very interesting.
it makes this year's South Carolina game even bigger.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
So you think you get a shot at them every year. We absolutely dog raced them and whipped them and embarrassed them. Then they came back, answered big time, and embarrassed us.
Yep.
And really put a damper on where our season could go. So knowing that we all want that revenge game, we all want that game this year, but knowing that it could be a couple years down the road that we see them again, you better take advantage of it. Yeah. And the other thing, another reason why I like playing South Carolina too is for recruiting purposes. There's a lot of good prospects that Tennessee likes to pluck from South Carolina, and I think it's always nice when we can say, hey, like, you know, South Carolina's still the little brother. Like, sometimes they have a great atmosphere when it's packed, but they don't always have it packed like we do.
Yeah,
you know, we're the more winning tradition in football, things like that. So that's one reason. Yeah, I'm happy to keep Florida and Bama on there. It's nice to keep Kentucky on there. Arkansas, Mississippi State, you know, those are fine. Like you said, it's just, you know, we've played them plenty of times in our life, but you know, to not have the same old every year is kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool, like the rotating schedule, having the three that we always play, and then rotating everybody else. Like I think it will be cool, but I like the point you made about South Carolina. Like, if you don't know that, like, maybe you won't play them again in 5 years, and then they finish with like just 2-0 versus you going into that drought, God, like that would be horrible just in every aspect. So it's like, we got to take advantage of this. You know, they like South Carolina has our number. No. Like, right. I get it if it was Georgia, if it was Bama, Florida, but like not South Carolina. Come on.
Funny thing is too, it's a lot of been about the coaches there. Steve Spurrier,
yeah,
stirring the pot. Will Muschamp, stirring the pot, and now you got Shane Beamer, and he might be the biggest pot stirrer out of the three of them, and that's saying a lot because of Steve Spurrier with UT. But so yeah, I'm excited for that one. But anyways, yeah, so I'm good. I'm good with there, and it's exciting. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think something new, and having Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC is like very. Oh well, let's see what happens. Like, I don't know.
It's nice too, because like I was saying, talking about Bama, I feel that way overall now. Maybe 3-4 years ago, I'd have been like, oh shit, like we have to play Oklahoma or Texas. Like, dang it, we already have to play Georgia. We already have to play Bama. We already have to play Florida. Like, those are three crucial games. But now
that was when we were trying to just be bowl eligible.
Right. But now that we have a coach that I truly trust, not that, like I said, not in any way am I being, oh, we're going to win them all. Oh, we're going national championship. Oh, we're doing this, doing that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, as a competitor, I'm like, let's go. Like, let's compete now. But I can say that though about my team because I feel confident in who's leading the organization. And so, I don't. I would have made a joke of being like, oh, I guess Mississippi State, like when we played them 3 years ago or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, they're going to have a really good team. Or like when we played Arkansas last time and they were, really good because of it just seemed like every time we played that East, I mean, we played Ole Miss and they were like, we hadn't played them in years and they were the number one team in the nation or something. Right? So it's just every year we played the East team, they were up that year. I don't even care about that stuff anymore. Like, I don't care who's on the schedule. I trust hype.
Yeah. Which is a great feeling to have.
The best.
That's what Alabama's been feeling since 2008. They don't care who's on the schedule.
Right.
All right, let's jump into Vol baseball. So, guys are in the College World Series. Played LSU yesterday. They now have Stanford. Correct? Yes, Stanford.
Yeah. Monday at 2.
No, on Monday. You called it, said they would lose this first game. I don't think there's a lot of people that are going to beat that pitcher for LSU. He is unbelievable. That man, I mean, the announcers were giving it, like, they were doing justice. They were saying, usually when you're in a game like that and it's, it's towards the end of the year, like we're all excited. You get annoyed at the announcers, just
Right.
Sucking off the competition, acting like they're the best things in the world. But I was like, yeah, that's about right. Like our guys can't hit anything. He's throwing 102 right down the pipe. His changeups, like, yeah, I can see what the hype is about. I see why they're saying he's a major league guy. Like he could be pitching in the majors now, because man, he was ridiculous. It kind of gave me pride. I don't know if it's more of like first game of College World Series, like you want to make sure and win, or if it was like we're playing Tennessee, like we got to put him out there. But for us to score our first run when he's 122 pitches in, that's crazy.
Yeah. Once again, not huge baseball guys here.
Yeah.
So for us to be like, wow, we're impressed by something that usually doesn't get our attention. I mean, it's not fair, but we're the type of fans that, we need a home run that is at a big clutch moment to get us excited.
Mm-hmm.
We can watch a football game and it could be 2nd and 8. And if they throw a swing route out to the running back and our star position or corner flies up and makes a tackle for 4 yards, but it's a dope flip tackle, I'm hyped.
Yeah.
So for baseball, for us to maybe appreciate a pitching performance like that against our own team. And I felt the exact same thing as you. Now, I thought we were going to win. Thought we were going to lose all because of my gut. LSU's a very good program. They have they just got a bunch of ball players. I feel like everyone that steps up can take 1 yard or can get a clutch hit. I feel like they're all super sound.
Their first 3 guys in their lineup are very good.
Yeah. It's just it's impressive to watch. And so I just had that gut feeling that we'd lose. I do think we beat Stanford. So I do think that. But I didn't even know about this Skeens guy. I didn't even know he was pitching. So that's not why I thought we were going to lose. I thought the game starts at 7. I hear it gets delayed. That is when Megan and I go and fish. And so by the time I come back, it's, I don't know, like 3rd, 4th, maybe 3rd inning. And I sit down and start watching this guy deal. And I kid you not, I watched like 4 pitches and I'm like, holy heck, like this kid is different. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is going to be a long night. Like, I don't know if we're going to get some, let alone runs. I don't know if we're even going to get any hits.
Oh, I know.
But yeah, it was impressive. And I was happy. With how the team battled back, put up some runs, got some late hits. There could have been some nerves in there for LSU towards the end a little bit. So I'm happy it just wasn't a 5-0 walkout, kind of easy does it. Maybe get our team some momentum that we got some of those hits and some of those runs. Not that I think that our team lacks confidence, but it's nice. Like, who's on the mound. You know who's on the mound or on the other side when you're playing them. And so most 90% of competitors are saying, hey, like, let's run it and let's do it. And then when you start playing and guarding them, you're like, yeah, he's worth it. Then it's kind of like, okay, am I good enough to hang or do I need to prove it to myself? One of those things. Does that make sense? And so I think it's nice that they can say, okay, listen, we got some hits, we got some runs, and they had to pull him. So,
yeah, I mean, I like LSU, they would have been in a bad spot if they didn't switch to the next pitcher after that guy came in. Like, the guy came in after Skeens and his first pitch, took it out of the house, scored 2 runs. Like, that definitely, I mean, there were nerves for LSU for sure. Like, we were coming out of that 8th inning, 2 runs. There was, okay, this is – and when we look back to the Super Regional, when we look back to the Regional, when we look back to Tennessee baseball getting hot at the right time, they don't score in the first 4. They score 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, that's when they score all their runs. So it is very much like, how long can you hold out with this Tennessee baseball team? Because eventually they wear down those pitchers, and it's like, if you're not perfect, then they're going to take advantage.
Right.
So I definitely think LSU was like, oh, there they are. Like, where, here's that Tennessee team we know. So, and I also think it's to everyone else because every other game that played before us was 1-run games. 6-5, 5-6. Like it was all very close. 2-1, 3-2. I think was Stanford and Wake Forest or something like that. But it was all very close games. Ours was the least close, I guess.
Right.
But it was like, all right, Tennessee still got life. Like this isn't going to be an easy game,
right?
Versus us.
And I think that's important for sure. There was one other thing I was about to say when you were talking, and then now I forgot it. Shoot, I'll if I remember it, I'll let you know.
But one other funny thing I thought was just hilarious is the first score that LSU had. It was like second or third inning. It was like right when they panned over to Peyton sitting up against the wall. They're like, yeah, Peyton Manning's here. Little thing. And then they just pan right back over to the pitch. And buddy sends it yard. I'm like, dude, Peyton can't fucking catch a break. Like, we're always just like, he's a curse. Don't come to any games. Don't do. He literally was at the LSU game of football. We whooped their ass. So it was like, hey, maybe it's okay. Like he actually isn't. And then he gets there, they pan to him and homer.
It's not, I heard, it's not fair to him that he would come back to games for the 10 years of the decade of disaster when, it's not his fault.
Yeah. Right when he retires and he's able to come back to games were the worst we've ever been.
Right. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how like I said, I think we win Monday, and I'm excited to see how they bounce back. And Kyler, for me, it's already a successful season. They made it to the World Series. I'm a very lackadaisical, very I don't really know the word I'm looking for right now. Baseball fan. I enjoy going to maybe a game or two a year.
Right now.
What's that?
Baseball fan.
What's that?
I say you're just mid. You're just like a mid baseball fan.
Yeah. And so there's some cool. Like I genuinely loved watching that Clemson game. I got extremely excited, extremely hyped, and like I enjoy going to one game, maybe two games a year. I want them to do good. If we do win a World Series, I will absolutely go bananas. That will be super, super sick. But the way that this team started and how they've pushed through, I'm proud of them. And to make it back to the World Series, it's a big deal. It really is building an awesome culture / organization for the baseball team. I certainly feel like as long as Tony V's there, we're gonna be in and out of the World Series every couple of years. So I
think so too.
It's a successful season in my eyes.
Yeah, I would agree, especially like where they started. I mean, that was the whole story about this team is like they did not start off great. Like they were losing games, and it was, hey, is this coming over from the last season because we were so good? We were the villains, and then we didn't even make it. And
right.
It was such a letdown. And it was kind of like, are we regressing? Are we really not good enough? Will we ever be good enough? So just to prove like, no, we're one of the best 8 teams.
Right.
We made it to the College World Series. So I agree with you. I think it's great for the program. I think it's great for Tennessee athletics in general.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, boy, do we look like an all-around school, and I love that.
It is not. It only helps everything else.
Everything.
All right, big boy, Mr. Boo Cotta. I'm excited to hear what you think. I'm excited to hear what you think. I'm gonna let you go first after I read.
So, Mr. Boo,
hey,
5'11", 185.
I'm doing it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Boo Carter. You interrupted. Let me start over.
Okay, go.
All right, Boo Carter, local guy. Okay, I'm excited to see what you think. 5'11", 180. I am on 24/7. So 24/7, they have him as a 3-star, number 8 in Tennessee. But then the 24/7 composite has him as a 4-star, number 2 in the state of Tennessee, behind another Tennessee guy, Caleb Beasley. 17th athlete, and he's 207 in the nation. So we have Tennessee, we have Michigan, we have Arizona State, Arkansas, Auburn. I'm skipping some of the smaller schools: Cincinnati, Colorado, Florida, Florida State, Kentucky, Louisville, LSU, Miami, Michigan State, Ohio State, Oregon. Yeah, basically everywhere. I do not see a Bama. I do not see a Georgia. Okay, but then you got all the other big boys. What do you see when you watch this film, and what do you see as a prospect?
First athlete. I always hate that. It's like really the guy's just super athletic, so they make him play both sides of the ball. But it's obvious that he's offensive centric. Like he's not going to be a DB in college. So say that his greatest talent is not flipping his hips and covering people. His greatest talent is his ability to make people miss. And that's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. Once I started watching the film and really looking at stuff and watching him with the ball in his hands, it just reminds me of Alvin a lot, of Alvin Kamara. The sudden jab in the ground and making someone else fall because you're changing directions is crazy. Like his ability to do that, his ability to bounce off tackles, he makes guys look stupid out on the field, and I'm all for it. I really like Boo. I think he is one of those guys like Cameron Seldon in that just get him the ball and see what this man can do. In the way that we saw in the spring game with Cam, where it was like, okay, we'll throw it to him. Okay, we'll let him run. Okay, we're just going to try different things. This is another one of those where we always talk about like, Heupel can do it with anybody, but give him somebody special, and it's going to be crazy. And this guy can play wide receiver. He can make dudes miss on routes in man coverage. He can find holes. I mean, he's great at reading his blockers. And shout out Bradley Central coaching staff. There were some damn good blocks out there. Okay, I will say that. So I was like, hell yeah, guys! Like, way to block for your boy.
I think he's at Bradley Central now. He used to be at Chattanooga Christian.
Okay. So, but whatever that highlight tape is, I'm like, hell yeah, good job. Like some great blocking on it. But his ability to read his blocks, to find the hole where it is, and then just what you always want is for running back for it to be one-on-one with somebody else, right? We don't have the numbers to block everybody. You got one guy you got to take care of. This guy can take care of 5. He can make 5 dudes miss. It does not matter. He'll reverse field. He'll do whatever he needs to do. The balance and the vision, like that is the kind of stuff I just thought was ridiculous. I mean, some of those plays, dude, just go on for 40 seconds, 30 seconds, because he's just, all right, I'm making this guy miss, reverse field, make this guy miss, reverse field, break this tackle, slip off this. That was a very impressive tape. I think I wasn't like blown away by his speed per se to like say like, oh, he's faster than everybody else on the field. I think he's definitely fast, but his cutting ability, it's like I think it was Waddle while he was at Bama that like Buddy was just cutting all the time and making people fall and trip and breaking ankles. But he definitely wasn't as like fast as Devontae Smith in a way.
Yeah.
So he's the same way. Like he's not the fastest guy in the field. He's still a 4.5 guy, but his cuts are just deadly, making dudes look stupid. And we can kind of break down some more plays when you're talking about it. But I mean, I really like Boo.
So I'm a little bit different. I like Boo. I think he's good. I wasn't left in awe, and there's a couple reasons or a couple things about that. so when I'm scrolling through Twitter, I don't follow like any of these recruits, but I obviously will see stuff about them that either, I guess now if someone you follow likes it or they try to put stuff on your page, there's that page where you can follow stuff that's kind of recommended for you, or
Yeah.
you can go to follow, or you can go through your timeline of just people you follow.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of Boo. I've meaning like a lot of clips and a lot of different stuff like that. And so I have some mixed emotions. First off, my favorite thing about it is that he's already talking about bringing in people with him. I always love that and I always appreciate that. If it's a part of a personality of a recruit that says, "Hey, I've joined here. This is where I'm choosing to go. I have a great relationship with them. Like I love this university enough to choose to go there," and then they want to express that to other individuals.
Yeah.
And why would you not want to go somewhere and bring other really talented people with you, because you're going there to hopefully win.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, he even stated like I'm going there to win a natty. Like
Right.
that's what he wants.
Right. So I appreciate all that. The other thing that I like about it is he is a Tennessee guy. He's not Knoxville, but he's not far down the road. So I always love keeping the in-state. Right now Tennessee has the number one and number two kids in the state.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's fantastic. I think football-wise, he's a stud and he's a football player, meaning they put him everywhere. So he'll play at safety, he'll play at running back, he'll play receiver. It's very much he's our best player or one of the best players on the team. So we need him to do a lot of stuff to help us win. So that's great. I respect that and I love that. It does sometimes make me nervous when they're an athlete. Are you going to play a running back? Are you going to play receiver? Are you going to do a little bit of both? You have to be extremely special to do that on the college level. I'm not saying that he's not. I just kind of wait and see. I'm not one of these just highlight film and be like, oh yeah, he can be the next, Reggie Bush, Dexter McClester, Percy Harvin, one of these D'Anthony Thomas guys that are just electric. I feel like he's going to have to find a spot, whether it is running back or receiver. I also watch this and wouldn't be surprised if he's on campus for a year or so and then transfers out because he can't find a role. I think the one reason I don't think that happens is because of Heupel. And I think Heupel is very good at using his pieces. And this is just all just seeing stuff on Twitter that, and I get it. These guys are young and these guys are being fed a lot of stuff. I felt like he might've been a little bit more on that ego side than some of the other people. And that is all because, like I said, I don't follow any of them, but I see a lot of stuff, I don't follow any of them, but I will see stuff because it's either recommended to me or people like it. And I just always felt like he was the one who's going places. And sure, you can post something like, hey, I'm here for the weekend, but it's always like, hey, where are my fans at? Where are my fans at? And I get it. They're trying to grow their following because that helps in the NIL space and all that stuff. I just felt.
Yeah, I mean, the whole, hey, I'm going to announce at 8 p.m. on Saturday, here's the prime time event.
I thought that was a little,
on Instagram Live. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I
think that's a little tough, like TUFF, tough, as my friends and I say. And I thought it was funny too. It's like, bro, University of Tennessee baseball's in the World Series. I love football more than anything, but I don't give a damn that I'm not tuning in. I forgot about it. I didn't even know that he had committed to us until probably an hour and a half later because I was on Twitter reading about the baseball. So I just think some of that shit's a little much and it's just kind of annoying. And if you do that stuff, like obviously he thinks he's a dog and special. If he's proclaiming we're coming here to win a national championship, listen, like I love the confidence and be about it. But I say all that to say when I turn the film on, I think it's fine. I think he's a very, very good high school football player. I don't know if what he does there is going to translate to Tennessee on that level. I see how his game mirrors an AK. but he's kind of like a Walmart brand AK. And no, that's no offense to Walmart. I got shopped there plenty, but you get the point. He's a discount AK. And I never watched AK's high school highlight film.
Yeah.
But I take it very, I'm so sorry. I can't think of the word. I don't say this, I don't compare people to people that are great. I'm going to be very cautious when I compare someone to Derek Barnett, to AK, to Eric Berry, to Cordell Patterson, some of these guys that have come through. So yeah, he has those feet and those moves and that balance, and that AK's not the fastest guy.
Yeah.
Runs away from people. He's very, very good. So I get that. And I like that. But like I said, to me, it might be a Walmart brand or Dollar General brand.
I would agree. Definitely. I think I was just trying to point out like the skills that he's showing are like in that realm. Like you're not going to say he's like Jalen Hurd.
Right.
Even though Jalen Hurd's a good running back. It's like
agreed. So one thing I wanted to do is go back and look at the caliber of people he was playing, because being local, I noticed that he's playing Webb on his highlight tape, he's playing Grace Christian on his highlight tape, and so I go and last year they lost to CPA. CPA's pretty good school, and they lost 28-13. But then they play Franklin Road, they play Good Pasture, they play Grace Christian, CAK. Like, dude, these are not good. They can be fine high school programs for their division. So that's, I'm not knocking them. I'm saying they could be a winning division within their division, but it's a lower division. Yeah. They're not, they play a big boy in McCallie and they lost 28-7. So I'm like, okay, that kind of tells me what I need to know. They lose to Webb 29-28. That's not the best of competition when you're looking to go play in an SEC school. So I'm looking at like, okay, he was really good against that competition. I'm not gonna say he dominated it. You know what I mean? Like I think he was really good against it. I don't think he dominated it. And if you're playing individuals like this, I think you need to dominate. Like Grace Christian, bro, they beat him 62-14. Like Grace Christian's not good. You know what I mean? So I know I'm saying his team beat Grace, but like some of these people that he's playing, it doesn't make I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't make it any more impressive. It's not like he's out there doing this and it's against NBA, Innsworth, McCallie, Baylor, maybe a MUS. So that's another thing. So overall, I think for me personally, I think there was a little bit more hype than there was substance for me personally, because I feel like I've heard his name a bunch over the past year. You see these clips of him and you win camps and all this different stuff. And don't get it twisted. Him in the open field, it's a cheat code. Like I'll admit, like it's a cheat. When he's in the open field with the ball in his hands, one-on-one, he's going to make at least that first guy miss, whether it's him running or whether he's running a route and he's doing that little footwork where he's basically playing a joke on the guy. And then he basically comes up, does one, like a little shimmy, and then he'll go right or left. And the person can't keep up with him for who he's playing or at some of these camps. But then I look at, him with the ball in his hands, and he makes the first guy miss, but then he might get tackled after a 12-yard gain. Like, is he house calling everything against the competition? Is he breaking 5 tackles and on like almost every play? And then safety, he's just a pretty good safety because he's more athletic than most people. He was not good.
No. Yeah. He is not a safety. Like
no,
he does not concentrate on anything about being a safety.
Right. He's just there because he's a very good athlete. And there was one pick that the guy was behind him by like 10 yards, and the only reason he got up and was able to PBU because he was faster and caught up. And then so his technique's not there at all for DB. I think his tackling is fine. He plays pretty physical on defense, but he's not a secondary player in the SEC. So he's an offensive weapon, and is he going to be good enough to carve out a legit role for himself on offense, and is he going to be better than other guys that Heupel brings in? So
Yeah.
for me, I'm happy that they got him, because I think it's a good look for Tennessee because he's an in-state guy and he is a 4-star guy, and hopefully it will help with the other people that they are going after that he is friends with or he has met or they respect his game from camps that they've gone to. But the actual play and the actual film, I thought I just didn't think the product was worth all the hype of what I've been hearing about for a year. That's
I think the hype maybe was overdone, so it made you kind of feel like, well, where is everything, right? Because not a couple weeks ago, you went back and watched the Bryce Brown high school highlight tape,
right?
And you watch him at running back, you're like, that ain't Bryce Brown. Like, there's certain tiers of stuff. So I understand what you're saying. I thought the skill that he had and what you described, like, no one is tackling him in the open field.
Not one-on-one.
Like,
not really
one-on-one, he's getting away from it. And maybe it is not his skill set to block. Maybe I didn't see one pass blocking thing. I didn't see one out at wide receiver run blocking for his running back. Like, maybe there are parts of his game that just aren't there. He's not necessarily a holistic player, but he's got skills that are very dangerous on a football field. That I just am like, oh my God, like, look at this athleticism and this quickness of a guy, and then think about it with Heupel's offense.
Yeah.
That's me excited. That's what gets me so excited about it. And who knows, maybe it is better to possibly put him at wide receiver instead of running back, because when you're out there at wide receiver, they don't have as much responsibility as a running back does to help with blocking, to get lined up in the right spot, to do the correct motion, to do like the thought process that goes into it. Wide receiver, maybe not as much. Maybe it's, here's your option route and you can kind of run wherever you want. You're only concentrating on what's going on this side of the field, not the other side. So maybe wide receiver is better for him. But, like you said, him bringing in other guys, him being a Tennessee guy, closing up the state, number 1 and number 2, that's what people want. That's what people have been saying for years. It's like, if we can close down the state, get the recruits in our state, we're going to be all right. Like, we can win football games with guys just in our state.
Well, easy, killer. They got
not everybody, but I'm saying that guys in our state can help us win football games.
The best players in our state.
Yeah, the best players in our state can help us win football games. And, it's not a Florida, it's not a Texas, it's not a California, it's not a Georgia, but there's still talent here. And we can't take that for granted and let them go somewhere else like it has in the past.
No, I agree with that. And I feel like I've just seen this many times before, where it's the guy who is just the most athletic with his feet and his speed, and he's a jack of all trades. And in high school, he's really, really awesome because of his natural abilities. And then when it gets to the next level, where people are just as athletic and just as quick and fast and all that stuff, then you really have to find your role and you have to be really good at it. And these guys sometimes get lost in the sauce. That's just me. I even remember when I was growing up and I was younger, and some of the local names for me around Knoxville, you got an Anthony Anderson, who was at Austin East. And I don't even know if you remember him.
I played. He was on the same team as me.
Oh, yeah, right. I know. But I'm saying, I'm talking about in high school. But you got Anthony Anderson. You had a Dennis Grogan. We had Harrison at Catholic. And then as we got a little bit older, like a guy that was in our grade maybe was Devin Young over at Bearden. And it's like these guys were the jack of all trades and can do everything. And it's like Harrison was really the only one that actually panned out, and that's because he had an actual position, which was safety. Dennis Rogan was get the ball in his hands at Fulton, but then he went to UT, and I thought he actually did better than I expected because he played defense, and I thought he played fine when they had him.
Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb worked out. Yeah, he was one of the jack of all trades that worked out.
Finally he moved to wide receiver. He's a damn it quarterback at Kentucky.
Yeah, but he was elite enough that he could do like what some of those guys were doing in high school. He was elite enough to then do it on the SEC level. And then when he got to the NFL, he went to receiver. But Anthony Anderson went to UT, never really. I mean, maybe some special teams. He never really started anything. Like I said, Dennis Rogan had like 1 year at corner, and he was a pretty good punt returner, but he wasn't what some of these people in Knoxville said that he was going to be. So I've just seen this a lot, and that's why I said I think the number one thing for him is that he has Coach Heupel, and if Coach Heupel believes in him and is going to give him a fair, he'll get a fair shake to come here, work hard, make plays. Then if you prove to Coach Heupel he can trust you, he's going to get the ball in your hands in successful positions. You just have to prove to him that you're there, because I think if he chose Michigan, dude, what's he going to play at Michigan? Running back, receiver? There you're going to have to pick. Are you going to be elite enough that John Harbaugh's designing stuff around? I don't know. Michigan's just like Tennessee. They bring in a lot of good players. I mean, Colorado's probably more of his speed if he wanted to go and be a jack of all trades. But then again, Colorado has Travis Hunter, and Travis Hunter is worth the hype. He's a freak, bro. He's a freak. There's a reason.
Michigan is very pro-style offense.
Right.
Like, I don't know if that fits his skill set. And I agree with you, like jack of all trades. Like I always, going through college, guys that were touted as athletes and they didn't have a necessary position, it was always a struggle for them to find where they were supposed to be. And a lot of times they did not pan out because they had no idea. They played defense and offense and concentrated on both equally, and then weren't good enough to be like, yes, I understand what a defense does, or I understand this position. I know that I'm supposed to put my footwork here. I know that I'm supposed to put my hands here. It's like, well, you were just going off athletic ability in high school. Right. You weren't paying attention to technique that you need to learn for this position. And it does put guys behind the 8 ball.
Well, look at Cam Miller. I mean, Cameron Miller was, 3 or 4 star coming from Memphis. He was an athlete. Does he play receiver? Does he play DB? Does he play running back? They played him at DB. He was fine, but he got buried on the depth chart, and now he's transferring back home to Memphis. And that, I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm just saying that's what makes me leery. Now, if this was Boo Carter, just the running back, and everything I saw was just a running back, whether it was every type of run, whether it's a toss or power or an ISO or a counter, picking up run blockings, catching the ball out of the backfield, screen routes, all that stuff, that made me feel a little bit better. But he truly is really, really good. And so the coaches have to use him in multitudes of ways. It just makes me nervous because, as we just explained, we've seen it time and time again where they get lost in the sauce when they get, well, that sounds bad. That sounds like they get to college and, have they get lost in the mix. So I don't know. I mean, I just try to call it like I see it. And I feel like I watched his highlight tape and was like, yeah, he's a good player. But I wasn't there was maybe twice that I was like, ooh. And that was all because of a one-on-one where he comes off the line, does his little footwork, and then slants in. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. But wait till you try it to a guy who is equally as athletic as you, maybe more athletic, maybe bigger, maybe faster. They're going to eat that shit up. That, you know what I mean?
And who's smart enough that can get away with cheating. I mean, DBs at the next level, they know how to get that little grab on the hip to make it to where you can't run your slant as smooth as you want, and they're all over your back, and they don't call a foul. Then they bat the ball away, and it's like, are you just going to throw your hands up, get irritated, then not be able to come back the next play? Because that happens to guys. Absolutely. Where they're just like, well, they're cheating. They're holding me. I can't do anything. Blah, blah, blah. And they get down in the dumps. It's like, no. Like, you got to step your game up.
Right.
If they're cheating, just step up. You got to step up another level.
You got to figure it out. You got to figure it out.
Exactly. So, I mean, I get it. And then before we ever left, I wanted to shout out Idris Farouk. We talked about him last week, and Buddy got his 4th star. Absolutely love that. You said it yourself, criminal that this man was the 3-star.
Should he send us something saying, should we just say you're welcome?
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious. Someone over at Rivals has been watching the pod. They're subscribed to the YouTube. Let's just say that.
Maybe now they listen to me not be so pumped about Boo and they drop him back.
Yeah, we drop in the recruiting ranking because of Reed.
Nah, listen, Idris, he earned that shit. He's a baller, bro. He put everything that you want to see on film. So congratulations to him. That's cool. It's really cool.
Honestly, I'm very excited for him.
I am too.
All right, man. Great pod.
See you, Kyler.
Bye, buddy. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. Absolutely love the comments. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download, and follow us on whatever listening platform that you use. Also follow us on social media. At Pancakes and Bacon for our main account on Twitter, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. If you want to follow Reed, his is at rbacon26 on Twitter. And then if you would like to follow myself, it is at Kyler Kervison on all social media. So you can find me there. But really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. You fans are the reason we keep going. And as always, go Vols.